All right, so once again, my name is Andy, and I am the general manager here at Stockjumpers, and we'll go ahead and get started with the 7 steps to trading stock jumpers. So some of you are pretty brand new to our webinars. If you have questions, the question and answer button at the top of the menu is anywhere you can ask questions, or if you have a comment, please feel free to enter that in there. It goes straight to us and our team here, so no need for anyone else to see it if you have a question that you don't want to ask. So there's no bad questions here. I'll try to answer as many as I can. We will have a question and answer portion at the very end. So once again, if you want to hold your questions till the end or ask them as we go, it's up to you, but just want to let you know you have that ability. All right, so the 7 steps to trading stock jumpers. There's quite a few of them. These are just 7 that we picked that we think are pretty important. Changing your thinking, trading versus investing, very good thing to point out. Trading, if you're looking for something to buy and hold, if you are a Warren Buffett type, let's buy the stock and hold it for 5 years, or a Motley Fool person who, let's buy this and ride the train, that's definitely not us. We're in it for, we're basically teaching you how to become a day trader. So we're in and out of the market in about less than, anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours. We love it when it goes in about 20 minutes, and sometimes that's the case, and we've had some really good successes lately like that. So yesterday was a great one with Intel. It was up about 10% in I think it was 3 minutes. So a great jump for us, and a nice easy way to grab some profit real quick and get out and go back to our same rinse and repeat. So number 2 is get the right proper broker setup. This is a really important one, and I get a lot of questions offline about this with people asking questions. Once again, I said this is a in and out thing. We're done in about 2 hours to 24 hours. So a lot of people ask me, well, how do I execute a trade when the market's closed? The one thing you need to do is make sure that your broker account allows you to do after hours trading. There are a lot out there that don't, but there's a lot out there that do. Just some that I know off the top of my head do are TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, E-Trade, and I know that's just some of the big names out there, but a ton out there that do that. Another part is getting set up, just besides the broker account, is making sure that you're getting our jump reports. Another thing that a lot of people have questions with is they didn't get the username and password. They might not have gotten that email. If anyone tried out for the 14-day trial and still hasn't received that, please let us know. We want to make sure that you're getting that. You should never get a restricted access page. Well, actually, you may get a restricted access page, but you'll be able to log in with your credentials for that 14 days to be able to view all those reports. One thing also, just a simple thing, get the account funded. Setting up a broker account, I think, probably takes about 7 days because you got to open it, they got to go through the process, and then you got to fund it. So, it's a 7-day process if you're not using something that allows you to trade after hours. One reason I say the right broker account is, for instance, if you traded Intel today and you didn't close out your position right after the 11% went up, or yesterday, if you didn't close out the 11%, you would have only ended with 2% this morning. You would have ended with a 2% gain. Great, that's 2%, but that's not why you're here. You're here to make the nice big pops and have that nice profit every day rolling in. Get the training. That is just something that we're going to go into more in depth too, as we will probably set up a training academy. We want to make sure that people that really want the support and really want the questions answered and really have those questions, we want to make sure that you have that one-on-one ability to have those questions answered. We'll want to make sure we go through scenarios like this. We can go in more depth in some slide presentations of how a trade evolved, or when to get in, when to get out. Create your trading system, trade discipline. So these are probably one of the most important things too is a system and discipline. If you don't have a system, you're going to always be asking, when do I go in? When do I get out? Do I take a stop loss? Do I take profit? I always say pick up, or here at StockJumpers, not I, but pick up the dimes, pick up the, pick the 5% and go. I mean, if you pick up 5% every day, that's going to be huge unless you're trying to wait for those big 10%ers. I mean, those will happen automatically. Sometimes you'll just automatically get that 10% and great. But if you're sitting there waiting for, you have an 8% gain and you're like, oh, I think it's going to hit 10, and then 2 minutes later it's down to 3% and it's not coming back up, well, your indecision just cost you, 5% because you were waiting for that. So if you have any, questions in regards to that, I mean, we can try to go into that later at the end, but, setting an entry, a stop loss or a take profit is huge. So stick with the system and make sure you do that. Entry and exit points, more towards entry on this one. A lot people always ask, when do I enter the trade? Because we don't give you an entry price point. I'll just let you know that all of the calculations I do off of our percents are all off of market close. So if you're buying right at market close, that's the percentage that I'm showing that you're realizing. So if there was a 10% jump zone, that jump zone was based on the range at close. So if you bought in with a 3% and it was dropping and then you hit your stop loss, but we said, hey, it was a winner because from close it only went down 3%, but that would have made you down 6%. That's one reason some people will say, hey, I had a loser, but you say it's a winner. So that's just another thing to watch out for. One thing I wanted to show you is I created a couple things for you, just some slides of our most recent ones, and this is Intel, so we love these ones. It closes right here. This is a 5-minute chart. It releases, bam. I think that was it. It bumped up about 7 or 8%, and this was the peak when it hit. I think it was 11 or 10.5%, just offhand, but I mean, a great area. If you waited till here, you could have got on around here, or if you just took your quick 5 and got out up here, you'd be done right there. So, I mean, that's what we love, and that's an example of one right there. Next example, Netflix. This is one where it's really important to have your stop loss and not just to, trade with no stops if you're not comfortable with that. If you look right here, here's I think this is actually a 1-minute chart. So I showed you that a lot of people ask, how did you really get out at 5%? Sometimes it's not possible, sometimes it is. But if you look right here, you definitely would have been able to get out. This is the top at about 11%. And then right down here we have this is a range where you could have gotten out at about 5% and your stop would have been triggered. So, we don't love those, but that's just an example of, being able to have that executed during that. Here, I wanted to show you guys an example. Here's a trade of Yum, one we did earlier this week, and it's a lot of trades put into one, or examples of trades. I have some 3 lines on here. The close is right here at the close right here. They released. We had a sharp spike up. We said it was going to head down. The spike went up. That first line is, I think, 3% or 3% right there, or 3.8% is where that line is. And I mean, some people might have jumped out right away. Some people might have stayed in. But this is an example of sticking to a system. Right here is the 5%, so you didn't nothing actually hit the 5% stop. But if you look, this trade kind of dwindled. It was kind of a wimpy trade. Some people might have just said, hey, it's not going to do anything. But if you look, we say some of these trades take 24 hours. If you look at the timeline at the bottom, there's close, there's open, and right at open, it dropped down and it actually hit about 5. This is actually 4.9 or 4.8% of where it closed right here. So, I mean, it didn't really get to your 5%, but you had the ability to get out in the 4s and some profit right there. Next one is to set up your money management plan. One thing I always like to say is to stick to a dollar amount. Don't stick to a number of shares. If you're going to do this, you want to make sure that we're out there looking for the percents, not anything else. I mean, if it goes up $10, the stock price goes up $10, it doesn't matter. We don't care how many shares of stock you buy, or you shouldn't focus on that. Just focus on using the same dollar amount. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up better for success, and you're not leaving profits on the table or gaining extra on your losers, which you don't want. Here's a really important thing that kind of goes back to that point of setting up a money management thing and just having a system, managing your emotions. I put up here some of our weeks of what we've had, and for the last few weeks. The weeks sometimes can be roller coasters, and especially if you start with us in the middle of a week where we might have had 2 losers or 2 wimpy ones. But if you look, I mean, we had 5 winners, 2 losers, 7 winners, 1 loser, 2 winners, 2 losers, 4 winners, 2 losers. So a lot of these trades, I mean, we're going to be above that 65 to 75% range where we want to be. And if you stick with the system, and the key too is also trading every single trade, it's going to work out. I mean, it's all a numbers game. As long as you're sticking to the system and making sure you're a part of all the trades and not just cherry picking them and going for what you want to do, that's a really important thing is trading everything, because you never know when that big, huge 20%er is going to show up. And I mean, we're coming into earnings season, and this is the peak of our time, and what we love. These are where we get some big movers, and we want to make sure that you're not missing out on them because we had 2 small losers. This goes, I mean, kind of they all somewhat blend in, but operate StockJumpers like a business. Make sure that you're treating it like a business. Like, you got to show up. You can't let your emotions get involved. If we lose 1 month, or not one, if we have a great week and a bad week, you never know what's going to happen next. I can understand if someone doesn't like it and they get out after 2 weeks, that they're like, hey, it wasn't for me. I can understand that, but then the next 2 weeks we had great winners. I've had multiple people sign up and keep following our site here and there, and as that they got out, and the next minute they saw we were up 30% the next week. So you can look at all of our history for the last 14 months and shows. So I'll be the first to tell you we got ups and downs, but we got way more ups than we got downs. I have a question from someone that says, so you're not using options at all? No, not right now. We're not using options because our system is very targeted towards a last minute. We might be able to incorporate some options in on this, but some stocks do not offer options the last day or the day of. Here's one that we just actually, a really cool and exciting thing that we're adding to our StockJumpers group, and that is auto trade. We've had so many people say, hey, I don't have time, I want to do this, how can I do this, all this stuff. Auto trade, I'm so excited for this. We're partnering with a company that does this. They are actually a licensed company, or not licensed, they're registered with the SEC, so it was really important to us is finding someone that is registered and that we're not using someone who is just a fly-by-night program. We want to make sure that they're reputable and they've got a good system, but this is going to be an add-on for anyone out there. It looks like it's going to be about $70 a month extra. So what we'll do is you can just set your account up. They will actually do all the trading for you. So you can have the system where it's 5% take profit, a 5% stop loss, a 3% stop loss, or a 10% take profit. It's really nice because we're going to be able to customize it kind of to what we want, so people are able to do that. One question, how about, I think, so someone asked, what if I only trade all the ups and not the downs? That goes to our, the mechanical system. If you're only trading the ups, you're leaving everything out on the table. You're cherry picking. We might have a good run of ups, or if we do 3 jumps a week and then next week we have 4 down arrows, well, we might have only had 8% in profit out of those 2 ups, but the downs were where all the money was at. So if you're cherry picking the trades like that, it's not gonna, well, it might be, I would have to go research that out and see what all the ups were, but if you're only doing the up direction, that's not the best way to do it. So that was pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to go over that. I like to keep these really short because sometimes people have a lot of questions, and last week we had a good amount of questions. So if anyone has any questions or comments in regards to how this is going, please let us know. We want to make sure that we're here for you guys and answering any questions we can. Oh, someone just asked, so how can I sign up for the auto trading? So if you want to sign up for the auto trading, I'm going to be sending out a formal invite for that. It's going to be through them. If you don't have a brokerage account, they'll be able to help set you up with one, or we'll be able to help sign you up with that process. So hopefully it'll be live hopefully in the next week or two, but it's really cool. We just kind of, we've been looking for a while and we found them, so I'm really excited for everyone to be able to jump on board with that. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Another person asked, are they investment advisors? They are. They are licensed with the SEC, so actually they legally can take control of the account or the trades. They can not take control, but they can execute. That's the best term for it. They can execute the trades for you. But I think that looks like all the questions today. So if anyone is interested more about the auto trading, please feel free to email me. Oh, one more, sorry. Ron, I'll see what I can do. That's kind of an offhand thing. I'll see what I can do to get you that information, the percents of just those. I can see what I can do for that. Someone asked, oh, geez, I got a ton of them in real quick. 1 second. About the stop loss, is there always given a stop loss on each trade? So when you mean by stop loss, sorry, I don't know if Dave you're on there, but if you give we recommend a stop loss. We have a 5-5 thing on our website, a 5% take profit and a 5% stop loss. That's just a way that we do things to show you an example. Because if I say, hey, our jump zone was 40% or 40%, 35%, people always go, oh, yeah, right. But that was, if you took all the losers and all the winners, that's what you got. So if you wrote everything to its peak or everything to its bottom, that's what you got right there. If your broker won't allow you to short, that's someone asked. If your broker won't allow you to short, that's one thing with the auto trading system we have. They're going to be able to set you up with an account that's going to let you do that. So it'll give you the ability to enter in on those trades. With a short, you might not be able to do as much based on the size of your account and what their margin rules are. So, but that is something that would be broker specific, and it's pretty much all about the same, but some have different rules than others. And it really depends on the size of your broker account. I think I missed one up here. Oh, one more. What can I expect return-wise? Well, we can't go into too much detail and say, hey, we're going to promise you a percentage, but I don't think there's been a month where we've had under, I think I hate to say our worst month, but I think our worst month yielded with our 5% take profit and our 5% stop loss. I think it was, I want to say 13 or 14% in the profit zone. That was one where we actually didn't even get to do that many trades because it was out of earnings season, and but we still had a 65%. I think we were 68% that month, and it was a good month, but there wasn't much out there, and the jumps we did do good didn't have a good jump zone. If you sign up, oh, I get what you're saying. If you sign up for auto trading, okay. Well, that's something that we will be able to set up a system. So depending on what you want as your risk-reward strategy, if you're someone that says, hey, all I want is a stop loss and I want to go ahead and execute the other portion, we can set that up. If you're someone that says, hey, I want it to be fully mechanical, all I want to do is just say, hey, here we go. I'll check in here and there every day, see how we're doing, and I want to go from there. We can do that. If you're someone that says, hey, just let it ride, we can let it ride. If you're someone that, is really conservative and you want a 3% stop loss and you want, 3% take profit, we can do that too. The cool thing about the auto trading thing is you can totally customize it to what works for you. What size of account should I use to start? If you have an account, I recommend not using anything less than a $30,000 account, because if you're spending money on StockJumpers and you're spending money on the auto trade, you want to make sure that you're using enough to pay for it. If you're not making on these winners enough to pay for StockJumpers and the auto trade system, you're not using enough. Because if every single trade that we have, there's someone that signed up their first day for StockJumpers on the system, traded and made 4%, made $400 the first day, and was like, made $400 the first day. That paid for their whole membership. Oh, and they were even on their trial, so they didn't even pay a dime. So, I mean, if you're not making each trade, if you're not making the money each trade, then it's not worth it. But I think, does anyone else have any questions out there? We got some really good questions today. I'm glad. Oh, a couple more. So, sorry, I'm reading this question. 1 second. So it looks like someone asked, so they're asking about entry price and when they, when they buy the stock. So an entry price is when you would like to do it. As I said before, all of the numbers that I do are based off of the end of close, the close. So, I mean, a lot of the people that we use will, within the last 30 minutes of the trading day, will enter their trade. If you notice, most of the volume actually picks up at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. So if you buy in the middle of the day, you might, either gain a lot more extra too, but you could also hit your stop loss faster if you entered your stop loss at a different price point in that day. So if you buy towards the end of the day, you're gonna gain the exact same amount that I'm saying. So people that are getting really good and making a couple more percent each trade, then they entered at a different price. So that's great. But everything that I would recommend is to enter at the very end of the day or very close to it. You want to make sure you get your order filled. So don't wait too close, but you want to make sure you get that order filled close to the end of the day then. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. So that really depends. He had a follow-up question. So do you hold that position, I'm guessing? So if you hold that position overnight, it really depends on if you're trading with a stop or not. If you're trading with a stop and you hit that stop, well, then you're done with the profit or the loss. But if you're someone who is just trading it, with a cowboy strategy, or you're adjusting your stop, so it goes up 5% and then you readjust your stop and then it goes up to 8% but doesn't go any higher, well, at least you'll be able to go back and get that 5% if it drops back, or you can just execute the market order the next day if it stays up that way. So that's just one example of how you can, do that. Is there any other questions out there? Well, once again, thanks so much for everyone for joining today. If you have any questions at all about the auto trade or about StockJumpers in general, please let us know. I'll be sending out more information very soon in regards to the auto trade after we get that all finalized and people can go ahead and get signed up for it. I'm really excited about that. I am really excited about that. People are really excited to be able to make sure that they get to be a part of every trade, so they don't have to sit in front of their computer for 2 hours to make sure that they're doing everything right, or be paranoid about it. So that's really cool about that. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward. Oh, sorry, looks like one last question. Looks like after. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Dave. But yeah, we can definitely that it can be due to the broker, and I think there's other brokers that we can find for you, and that can, if you just want to shoot me an email, I can try to answer some of those questions for you, or put you in touch with the person that we're going to be using that'll be able to answer that better for you, because I do know you're out of the country. But once again, thank you so much, and if that's it, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you on the next jump.